Welcome back everyone to another installment of the how-to guide series. Today we'll be doing Ororon. I'll be going over his kit, playstyle, teams, weapons, artifacts, etc. Sit back and enjoy today's guide.
Oh, hello. I'm Ororon from the Masters of the Nightwind.
Ororon is the newest Electro bow user in Genshin Impact. He serves a sub DPS role, but you can make him work as a main DPS, although I wouldn't advise for that unless you're like a Ororon superfan, which I doubt many of us are. Most of Ororon's utility revolves around his skill and ultimate, so without too much yapping, we'll just get right into it. Starting with Ororon's basic attack, it really doesn't do much, it just looks flashy. I wouldn't prioritize this, and the charge shot just shoots out an electro shot. It has an interesting mechanic, and I'll show that later. So this is what I was talking about when I said I'd show it later. I just did it in post-editing. Whenever you do a charge attack towards these graffiti-looking things, when you hold your jump, the boost you get from his talent will be increased, and you'll jump a lot higher up. For Ororon's skill, Night Sling, he throws out an orb that hits and marks enemies. It causes electro damage and can bounce around nearby enemies up to 3 times. Keep in mind though that the same enemy can't be marked twice, or the orb can't jump to them twice. Also, after Ororon uses his skill, his talent Aspect Catalyst activates. This grants Ororon the Aspect Sigil effect. For 15 seconds, when a party member hits an enemy with a normal attack, charge attack, or plunging attack, both Ororon and the character on field will gain 3 energy, and this can trigger a max of 3 times. So 9 free energy for both Ororon and for your on-field carry. Ororon's elemental burst, Dark Voice's Echo, summons this spinny thingy that not only taunts the enemies but applies electro over a short period of time. Really good for AoE and crowd control. Now that I've gone over his normal attack, skill, and burst, I'll go over his first talent, which is Nightshade Synesthesia. This gives him 40 Night Soul points when a teammate triggers a Night Soul burst or after he casts his elemental skill. When a teammate hits enemies with Hydro or Electro, Ororon will gain 5 Night Soul points, which can trigger every 0.3 seconds up to 10 times. Keep in mind he has a max 80 Night Soul stack of points. Also, when enemies take Electro damage or Night Soul aligned damage by teammates, Ororon will trigger the Hypersense effect and deal Electro damage based on 160% of Ororon's attack, up to 4 enemies, and this will also consume 10 Night Soul points. Finally, his third and fourth talent. His third talent allows him to jump up really high by either holding the jump button or by swapping him while jumping with another teammate. And his final talent increases gliding speed by 15% for all party members. Pretty useful for exploration, and they basically go hand in hand. For his cons, C1 allows his skill orb to bounce around 2 more times, and enemies will take 50% more damage from the talent Nightshade Synesthesia. For his C2, after Ororon uses his burst, he'll gain 8% electro damage bonus. Additionally, after the ult hits an enemy, it increases Ororon's electro damage by an additional 8% up to 32%. C3 and C5 increase the skill and burst levels by +3. His C4, his burst will rotate 25% faster and restore 8 energy to Ororon. And finally, his C6, after triggering Nightshade Synesthesia, the active character attack will increase by 10% for 9 seconds. This can stack up to 3 times. And also, after Ororon uses his burst, he will deal 1 instance of Hypersense damage, dealing 200% of its original damage instead of the 160%. Alright, for weapons, since Ororon isn't a 5-star, he doesn't get his own special weapon. So, one 5-star I would recommend is Elegy for the End. It increases EM by 60 and EM by 100 and attack by 20% for all nearby party members when you consume the 4 sigils. A really good support weapon, really good if he's going to be your off-field sub DPS. Just boost everyone's damage in the party and then give them that little bonus EM as well. Number 2, no surprise to anyone, Aqua Simulacra. Again, big stat stick. 20% damage, 88.2 crit damage. Yeah, nothing much more to say about this weapon. Number 3, it's going to be a 4-star weapon. It's going to be Chainbreaker, increase attack by 27.6%. For every party member from Notland or from a different elemental type, increase the equipped character's attack by 4.8%. And when there are no less than 3 of these characters, the character gains 24 EM, again boosting your overall damage. Finally, Alley Hunter, while the character equipped with this weapon is on the party but not on field, so whenever he's taking a seat in the back, increase their damage by 2% every second, up to a maximum of 20%. And when you do need to swap in, maybe use his burst or use his skill, it'll drop by 4% every second until it reaches 0. But again, you're not going to be on field with Ororon long enough for this effect to wear off, unless of course you're running him as a main DPS, in which I would not recommend this weapon. For artifacts, I would recommend the Scroll of the Hero of Cinder City. This gives them 6% elemental energy and 12% elemental damage bonus for the elemental types involved in the elemental reaction for 15 seconds. So if you had them paired with Hydro and Electro and you guys pulled off some Taze, you know, that would give you that 12% elemental damage bonus. And if the equipping character is in the Night Soul Blessing state, when triggering this effect, all nearby party members gain an additional 28% elemental damage bonus for the elemental types involved in the elemental reaction for 20 seconds. The 4-piece golden ship would be another good set. It increases your skill damage by 45% and an additional 25% when not on field. Keep in mind this will be cleared after 2 seconds of Ororon going on field. Finally, any 2-piece of Glad, 2-piece Noblesse, 2-piece Thundering, or Shimenawas would also work really well on Ororon. For Ororon, you mainly want to focus on Taser teams, so people like Raiden, Beidou, Fischl will be good Electro supports. And for your Hydra units, Xingqiu, Yelan, Kogami, unfortunately, will be good. And I would throw in an animal unit like Kazuo or Sucrose to help you boost your damage even more. Overall, I think Ororon is a pretty solid sub DPS. I think with that buff to the elemental reactions, I think he's probably a little better than he would have been before. Pretty solid for a 4-star. I don't think he's anything too special though. I think he's just gonna serve as a sub DPS, but essentially another Fischl, another freaking Aimiko, just in the back, not really doing much. If I had to give him a rating out of 5 HoYo's, I think Ororon takes 3 out of 5 HoYo's home today. Again, solid unit, solid 4-star. However, nothing really to write home about. Not really insane meta, changing, defining. Yeah, he's solid. I can't complain too much about him. So, if you're trying to get him on your Chaska summons, I wish you nothing but the best. And thank you everyone again for tuning in for another how-to guide. I know this one was a lot shorter, but 4-stars tend to have a lot shorter kits to analyze and break down. So again, thank you everyone. Have a great day. Trolls don't get blocked.